Hello everybody, thanks for tuning into the Overtax Taxpayer channel. Hey listen, I got a great video here based upon a question from another video that I made. But first, if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. It helps me out. As well as click the little bell icon. You'll be notified every time I put out another video. So, in the past, I created this short video, and the title of it is I'm Furious. Refused 45 job offers and abusing welfare tax dollars. It was basically about a man who was offered 45. He claimed he stopped counting when he reached 45 job offers, and he preferred to take welfare dollars. You can see the views right there. One of the questions I got on the video, I'd like to read to you. Wow, take a look at this handsome devil right there. That's your next video that you should be watching. Very educational. So the question is, why are letting the government stealing from us anyway? So it sounds like it's broken English. I'm going to try to help break that up. Why are we letting the government steal from us anyway? She's referring to governments take money from the working people and give to the lazy. Why are we letting government steal from us anyway? Me by myself, I can't fight, but all of us can. Then she goes on to say, I know a mentally challenged person working for goodness sakes. That was a very good question, and I answered it with, they keep us fighting each other. Individually, we are weak. Excuse me. I'd like to read you. Let me get a glass of water real quick out of my Berkey water filter. My heart medication, the doctor says part of the side effects, it makes me cough. I want to talk about divide and rule. Now, what you see on the screen is all I want to read to you. I mean, it doesn't go too far into depth. It's not a long article, but I want to read about it, and that way we understand the tactics that are being used against us, how it is deployed, and how we fall for it every time. Divide and rule, or divide and conquer, in politics and sociology, is gaining and maintaining power by breaking up larger concentrations of power into pieces that individually have less power than the one implementing the strategy. For those who don't understand that, a smaller entity breaks down a larger entity. The smaller entity is normally the governing entity. The larger entity is the populace, the population, society. The concept refers to a strategy that breaks up existing power structures, you the people, and especially prevents smaller power groups from linking up, causing rivalries, God, I can't even talk, and fomenting discord among the people. It was used heavily by British Empire and India and elsewhere. I like how they put elsewhere there. I just also want to say it's still being used. It's being used currently still by the British Empire. I'm going to call them British Empire because that's what they are. I know it's politically correct to call them, you know, Europe, the UK, United Kingdom, but they're the British Empire. Boccolini cites divide and conquer as a common principle in politics. It's common. according to him, it's necessary when they use the word common in this context. The use of this technique is meant to empower the sovereign, the government, to control the subjects, you, populations or factions of different interest. So basically, I want to read that again. The use of this technique is meant to empower the sovereign to control subjects, populations, or factions of different interest, who collectively might be able to oppose his rule. We're talking about Boccalini. Machiavelli identifies a similar application to military strategy. He's referring to the book Art of War, that a captain should endeavor with every art to divide forces of the enemy, either by making the enemy suspicious of his men in whom he is trusted in, or by giving him cause that he has to separate his forces. And because of this, his enemy becomes weaker. So he'll get his captains to lose faith in his comrades or his lieutenants, or he will create suspicion where he feels that he needs to divide up his forces. For example, they might leak some information. Hey, you got forces invading on your left line of defense or your right line, when there really isn't. They use different tactics, one or a combination. Listen, I can read on and on and on. I can read about the War of the Jews, where the Romans basically divided up the Jewish colonies into 5 states, made them think they hate each other, created jealousies and animosities, and the Romans went and conquered them one at a time. The first of the 5 states was taken over and conquered. The 4 that were left over shrugged his shoulders, says, I don't care. They were our enemy. And one at a time, those 5 states were conquered. And nobody cared. I now want to just read this final 4 or 5 lines here, right here. And then I'm going to finish this video. Why am I reading this 4 or 5 lines? I said it already. You need to know how this technique is being deployed upon you. Elements of this technique involve creating or encouraging divisions among the subjects to prevent alliances that could challenge the sovereign being the government again. And we see this all the time. We see this being not only done by our government, but it is actually mostly deployed by the 5th column, the news media outlets. And when I say news media outlets, I'm not just talking about the news. I'm also talking about Hollywood. I'm talking about every piece of journalistic material, whether it's on video or whether it's in a magazine. It is all part of the tool. I'm going to read that one more time. Creating or encouraging divisions among the subjects to prevent alliances that could challenge the sovereign. Aiding and promoting those who are willing to cooperate with the sovereign. Now, we've seen this before. And aiding and promoting doesn't have to be monetary, but a lot of times it is. Think about how many times our government or news media outlets promote groups that justify, these groups justify violence. They justify doxing of little children. They promote that a silly inanimate object, such as a red hat, is the new KKK hood. or a smirk is a sign of racism and white supremacy. They also promoted the whole hands up episode. All the police shootings, they promote it and turn it into a racist act, only later to be found out that it was a justifiable homicide. Don't mistake me. They're not all justifiable. I realize that. But many are. But it just seems to be now they're all racist. It's done by a racist cop. Fostering distrust and anonymity between local rulers. Here in Tucson, Arizona, I see it all the time. I hear about it on the radio. Our local board of directors, our city council, our local government fighting each other due to the misspending of certain monies, which leads me to my fourth and final line. Encouraging meaningless expenditures that reduce the capability for political and military spending. Well, I see that a lot locally, and a good metaphorically speaking, the bridge to nowhere. They throw money at certain things and say, we don't have enough money to fix that problem. Well, folks, I think I've gone on long enough. There's a lot of divide and conquer being deployed upon us. You know, we're taught, we're programmed. As a white guy, I'm supposed to hate blacks. I'm supposed to hate Mexicans. I'm supposed to hate immigrants. I'm supposed to hate the rich who employ me. I'm supposed to hate Jews. I'm supposed to hate gays. What else? I can go on and on. I'm supposed to hate gun-carrying, Bible-thumping people. Isn't that what Obama called it? Or Bible-carrying, gun-thumping? I'm supposed to hate those people. What else? I probably could think of quite a few more. The fact of the matter is, you're probably trained and taught to hate people like I'm taught to hate them. And if you're black, you're probably programmed to hate me. You know, it's funny, I go walking around in a shopping mall, and nowadays, women look like bitches, angry at the world, attitude, sucking their teeth. I'm not talking about all women, but you've seen it. And the men that's walking next to them got their chest open, trying to act bad, looking for the next fight that's coming around the corner. Everybody's on defense is what I'm saying. Everybody is taught that everybody's the enemy. Everybody is on defense. How can we join together if we hate each other, if we don't trust each other? Look what's going on. They have no choice to deploy this upon us. The wrong that they do. They can't afford to have the masses stand up for their rights. Which leads me to another thing. Anybody who stands up for their rights, they're anti-Semitic. You don't like the importation of women rapists in your country, and you're standing up and protesting against it? You're anti-Semitic. Anyway, folks, you have a great day. Thanks for watching. Hope to see you on the next video. And by the way, if you get the chance, watch this video right here. Take care.